friends, welcome back to my crafty space. My name is Crystal Idunyate, and today I am sharing a new project that I am starting on my channel for the summer of 2022. I have had it in my mind to do some kind of summer project for a very long time, something where I can be a little bit more spontaneous in the stories that I'm telling, to approach it as a somewhat daily project, but also to not hold myself too strict to telling a story every day, because that can get very overwhelming. So what I landed on is this Scrappy spiral notebook. This notebook is something that I was made aware of by my friend Heba Alsibai. She is my little journal here on YouTube, and I'll be sure to link her in the description box down below, because she's already been working in this and has tons of inspiration that you can see over on her channel. I picked up the same notebook, which is from a store called Mochi Things, and I'm going to be using this notebook to tell my stories throughout the summer. My goal right now is to work in this album most days of the summer. I would love to work in it every day, but I know that's not totally feasible. So I'm just going to say I would like to work in this album more days than not. I also want to tell stories that are both big and small, and use the awesome structure on the inside here to get a bunch of photos and words documented for our summer. Inside of the album, the pages are set up in a grid sense. So the left side always looks the same and the right side always looks the same, but these two sides are different from each other, which you might be able to see by looking at it. So I went ahead and created myself some photo templates inside of Photoshop just to make it easier to plug in my photos and get them printed off. I will probably create a couple of additional templates just with some different configurations as the summer progresses, because I love having a little bit of variety in the layouts that I can create. I did go ahead and add my title page on here. I used an Ali Edwards alpha stamp to stamp out Summer Stories 2022. Put in a couple of stickers on here, and I did this on some pattern paper because there was previously like a title page on here that I just wanted to cover up. I also went ahead and did the inside of my album, so I've got a decorative page here on the left side that says make more time to play, because that's really what we would like to do this summer, and I would love to tell more stories about making time to play. And then on the left-hand side, I have my reason why. This is something I love to do inside of any new project that I'm starting, and specifically projects that have a clear defined beginning and end, so that when I start to feel overwhelmed or when I start to feel kind of burnt out on the project, I can return to my original intentions, read through them, and I find myself becoming motivated and inspired again to create in the album, because I have remembered why I wanted to do this in the first place. So this is all that I have created so far. Today I'm actually going to create my very first layout with you, documenting the last day of school for the kids. This album is going to go from the last day of school until the last day of summer. I will also eventually rebind the edge here with a much bigger spiral bound coil. But I don't have that yet, and I'm not ready to do that yet. When I do, I will try to film a process video so you can see how that even works. And that way I can fit more stories in here than I can right now. So that's definitely going to be coming down the line. All right, I think that is all I have to tell you in my intro here. I will be sharing my process videos along the way. I don't know how frequently or how many or anything like that. I'm just kind of leaving things open-ended. But I do want to share my process videos with you, and those will be located here on YouTube. So you can look forward to seeing a bunch of summer stories shared with you here on YouTube, and hopefully more frequently than not. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. All right, friends, let's go ahead, turn over onto my desktop here and get to work telling stories inside of this notebook. All right, friends, so let's jump into this very first layout. So I'm going to go to the second page here, which I've got this blank section and then the grid section. And one of the things that I really love when I'm working inside of albums and notebooks is combining the smaller grid-like photos with some full page photos. So that's something I will definitely be doing throughout the stories that I'm telling this summer. This very first spread that I'm working on is all about Izzy and Jonah's last day of school, which was last Thursday. I printed this photo to fit the full page, which I believe was about 5.5 inches by 8.25. Yep, that's correct. So 5.5 by 8.25. So that's going to go on the left side here, and I want to do some stamping on it. And then I also went ahead and printed off a bunch of little photos and some journaling that I'm planning to put in this album. So I'm going to go ahead and put you on fast forward while I get to work on this album. Just as a heads up on the stamps that I am planning to use, I've got the Ali Edwards Celebrate Story stamp. I have an older Celebrate Today stamp from Feed Your Craft. And then I also have the Studio Calico Back to School. So I'm going to use the combination of these three to fill in, make some embellishments, and decorate my page. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so to get started on our layout for today, first I'm going to pull aside all of the photos and get everything placed where it's supposed to go on the grid. So I've got a couple of little square photos that are going at the bottom. I did leave a blank space down there because I'm actually going to stamp in a sentiment as some added decoration. And then I'm going to also adhere down all of the photos into their spots, just using some roller adhesive. I'm having a little bit of trouble with my roller adhesive. It keeps sticking and I have to open it up and wind it up, and I don't know what's going on. It's super annoying. But I'm hoping I can get that fixed relatively soon, and then it won't be so obnoxious to actually add the roller adhesive onto the back, because it makes it take a little bit longer than it should to get all of these pieces placed down. I also went ahead and printed my journaling on some clear sticker paper that I have here in my studio. It is a glossy photo, or a glossy sticker paper, glossy clear sticker paper, and I have recently ordered some matte clear sticker papers. That's supposed to be here at some point tomorrow. So I'm going to give that a try next time just to see what it looks like. But we won't get to any layouts using the new sticker paper for a little bit, just because I have a couple of layouts I've already printed my journaling for on the glossy one. Now I have an idea for something I want to do in this top box to create a title piece. I want to stamp a pattern. There is this star background sort of pattern that was included in the Celebrate Story stamp from Ali Edwards. So I am creating some masking here by using washi tape and then covering up the photos with some just paper scraps so that I don't stamp onto the photos. And I also don't stick any of my washi tape onto the photos because I don't want to ruin them. So I've created this mask around the box, and then I went ahead and inked up that background stamp using a new ink pad from Studio Calico. This one is called Lemon Zest. I actually just invested in all of the ink colors from Studio Calico. I still need to swatch them, but I loved that they have some different color options and that they're good for stamping in notebooks like this one, or traveler's notebooks, or pages where you're working on the front and the back side of a single piece of paper. So I stamped these stars up at the top and then removed all of the masking. It did mess up a little bit because I didn't realize that there was a piece of just plastic garbage that was somehow adhered onto the stamp. I did remove that, so it should be fine for next time. And for now, it's totally fine. You can barely tell that there's a problem there. I also wanted to create a title that's going to go on top of my journaling. So I pulled out a stamp that says Celebrate, and then it had some kind of subtitle underneath it. I didn't want the subtitle, I just wanted the word Celebrate. So I actually took my tonic scissors and I cut the sentiment apart. You can totally do this with your acrylic stamps. They go back together. It doesn't harm them. It's totally fine. So I cut that bottom sentiment off, put it back on the backer, and then now I've just got the word celebrate that I'm going to put on top of the journaling. I'm also pulling out some additional stamps that I want to add, both as a title for the whole page, a little bit of decoration there at the bottom, and then I also have a ton of sentiments that I'm going to stack on top of each other in the upper left-hand corner of the photo enlargement. I just wanted to add a little bit more decoration to that photo, and the nice thing about stamping is it doesn't add any bulk to your album. Since I want this one to stay relatively flat, I'm going to opt for as many embellishments as I can that are either flat or that are inks that just soak into the paper. So I've got the right-hand side pretty much done. I stuck down the journaling. I added the school days little circle there with an A+ in the middle. And then I also have currently celebrating, which is my title for the top piece. I'm setting that to the side and working on stamping the sentiments onto the photo. For my black ink, I'm using the Close to My Heart Archival Black. It stamps really nicely onto my photo paper. I am using the Canon Glossy Photo Paper 2, which takes ink really, really nicely, as you can see here. So I've got most of my stamping done, most of my embellishing done. Next, I need to go ahead and adhere this large photo into the notebook. So I'm adding some double-sided adhesive. It's just easier for me to do it this way. Plus, it has a really strong stick to it. Then I'm going to position it in my notebook, which takes me just a second to figure out how I can get it positioned in there. And then I'll flip over the page and trim off any excess that you can see on the back side, which is pretty much just the sharp corners there and then a little bit of the edge that I didn't quite line up super perfectly. It works out totally fine though. You can't even tell that the photo, I think it's like slightly cockeyed, but you can't even tell. To finish this one off, I felt like I needed one more pop of color on here. So I pulled out these older cardstock star stickers from the December Daily Collection from Allie Edwards. I'm pulling off the bright red ones and I'm going to add 3 onto my layout, 1 on the photo and then 2 on the grid page in order to finish this one out. I take one last look, making sure I don't want anything else anywhere on the layout. I'm happy with it, so we're going to call this one done. All right, friends, that completes my first layout inside of this notebook. I super love the way that this one turned out. I love combining the large photos with the smaller grid-like photos, and the fact that this had an area for me to add all the additional photos and journaling and stamping. I just super, super love this. I did just notice that I did not put my date on here, so I'm going to quickly add my date stamping. That will help me keep track of what day these were actually on. So we are in 2022. This was June 2nd. Yes, June 2nd. And that goes right up at the top, like so. There we go. So now we know what day this story was actually from. Okay, so now, for real, we are officially done. I hope you enjoyed seeing the process of this layout come together. If you did, I would love a thumbs up on this video down below. And be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so you can follow along with all of my crafty adventures. I will be back very soon with another layout inside of this album, as well as other layouts for other albums. So stay tuned for those to make their appearance. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye, friends.